नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है हमारे चैनल थिंक टैंक इंडिया पर। थिंक टैंक इंडिया पर we are going to discuss tonight on the topic Hindu lives matter. In nowadays we are seeing that atrocities on Hindus are going around towards all over the eastern region of the India, particularly in Bengal and Bihar. And also we are seeing that in Pakistan and Bangladesh, Hindus are living like a second class citizen. So on this topic, today we are going to discuss with Mr. Animitra Chakraborty. He is the General Secretary of Bengal Volunteers. Animitra da, welcome to our channel.
Thank you. Thank you very much for invitation. Yes.
So Animitra da, my first question to you, do you think nowadays Hindu lives really matter?
Well, unfortunately, Hindu lives do not matter these days. There have been several reasons for it, and it must also be stated at the same time that we are also responsible for making our own lives deplorable. Well, there has not been any less conspiracies on the part of the state, the governmental structures, to make our lives less valuable, but we must have to admit that we are also not so conscious to make our lives strong enough to withstand the problems and to face it and to resist it in any way.
So why do you think that Hindu life doesn't matter nowadays?
Well, first of all, is that if you look at the Bengal scenario at the moment, it must be stated that West Bengal has been one of the two states in India that was partitioned in 1947. Until this moment, several questions of the 1947 partition do exist. One is that what is going to be the condition of the Hindus here? In 1947, West Bengal was partitioned with the belief that this state is going to be the Hindu majority state in the coming years. But sadly, the last few decades, owing to unchecked Islamist infiltrations from the neighboring country of Bangladesh, there has been a steady demographic change in many districts, the border districts of Bengal. And what is more shocking is that even the interior districts of the Bankura, Birbhum, Medinipur, they're also showing great demographic changes in the last few days, last few years. And for that, all these reasons, Hindu lives, we have found that in the Nam Navami, there have been several violent activities, altercations, and there had been attacks on the Hindus with no support from the government. The government preferred to stay silent, and this did encourage the hoodlums to attack the Hindus, what that was found in Shibpur. And for all these reasons, I think that the Hindu lives, maybe the Hindu lives do matter to us, but not to the government. There is a difference of perspectives between the government and also the people, the Hindus.
So, what is the future of the Hindus in West Bengal?
It's extremely tricky, it's extremely dangerous. And to be very precise, the Bengali Hindus, the Hindus whose mother language is Bengali and they profess the Hindu religion, they are striving or staggering in an existential crisis. We are in the same position like the Jews in the 1930s, that I have the right to exist, and I do have the right to exist, and my existence is at stake. And it's not only limited to the Bengal Hindus, I think. Well, I was just going through a few days back, some newspaper reports came that in the last Ramadan, and even in Gujarat, the Islamists had pounced upon the Hindus. The Hindus were taking out these processions to celebrate Ram Navami when they were attacked. So, if a state that has been governed by the Bharatiya Janata Party or the premier Hindu political party for the last 3 decades, almost at a stretch, even in that situation, these types of unruly activities do take place. So what can be the situation in Bengal? It's almost the same, or even the worse in Bengal is taking place.
So, my second question to you, that What is your opinion about recent Ram Navami incidents in Bihar and Bengal?
Well, the Ramanavami incidents, it must be said that when I was a child, when I was a youth even, I was in the college days, I hardly had ever heard of this Ramanavami. But in the last few years, there has been a constant, stupendous rise in the celebration. It's quite good to us. But at the same time, it must be realized that when we are talking of Ramanavami, some persons or some forces are considering it as an identity politics. And to aggravate or to lessen our position, they are, I'm saying with a very well, with a legal manner, they are trying to espouse or instigate a few other communities to attack on us. So the Ram Navami festival in Bengal and Bihar, even in other parts of India, has become synonymous to struggles, violent confrontations, and if the Hindus don't realize the coming days, they are going to be in a more and more sorry state than can be imagined even.
Sir, my question to you, what is your opinion about latest violences in Hindus, latest violences on Hindus in Bangladesh and Pakistan?
Well, there has been never less of violence. It's not a violence, it's a state persecution. There has been no riot. From 1946, the Noakhali saga spectrum to this moment, in both halves of Pakistan, I do call, personally, I do consider Bangladesh as East Pakistan. It is not a Bangladesh. The Indian Army went there, the confident, they contributed profoundly. The government of India expressed or spent millions of dollars on everything. But what is now in Bangladesh? There is not a single column to not to celebrate, but to memorize those Indian soldiers who dedicated their lives for the creation of Bangladesh. So this is not it's nothing but the eastern part of Pakistan. And in Pakistan, from 1940 to 47, there has not been a single riot. There has been only persecutions, state persecutions. Only a few days back in 24th April, I wrote a column in my Facebook profile that in Bengali that this 26th April marks the 62nd anniversary of the Pabna genocide in 1962. In that single genocide, no less than 5,000 Hindus are butchered within 3 days. Jack list. In just 3 days, there 5,000 Hindus are butchered. In 1962, in 1964, in Pakistan, there's an unbelievable amount of genocides. So Pakistan's history is a history of Hindu genocides. And what is going on in both sides of Pakistan at this moment is just the last half. The Hindus have become almost extinct in Pakistan, the western half, and Hindus are becoming a museum piece in the eastern half of Pakistan. Since now, what's the reason? The reason is that the oppressors and the attackers who are trying to get rid of you will try to eradicate you racially. It's called the racial extermination. But the Hindus, on the other hand, have not been able to resist this onslaught. They have not been able to put up their own ghettos. They have not been able to think differently. They have not been able to understand their own destiny. And for all these reasons, what we are seeing at this moment in both halves of Pakistan is the last remnant of the Hindu civilization. If this is gone, anything Hindu is no more here. And Bangladesh, take it from me, Bangladesh is going to be the largest homogeneous state in the coming century. Largest homogeneous state across the globe.
Why you
That
are
means
thinking that Bangladesh is going to be the largest homogeneous state?
what's the homogeneous? Since all people are equal, they have equal language, equal religious policy, and everything. What is the Hindu? The Hindus are nowhere there. What's the meaning of homogeneous state? Is there anything heterogeneous? Is Bangladesh allowing anything, a different opinions of the Hindus? The Hindus are completely pushed to the wall. We do not know what have been the regular experiences. And from each and every day, when I am sitting in Calcutta, I do come across lots of reports of the on the persecutions of Hindus in various parts of Bangladesh, be it Dhaka, be it Borishal, Joshua, and everywhere, even in Chattogram. And Chittagong has become the greatest uh, armory of the Jamiat Islami. There in Chittagong, a new caliphate is going to born under the Rohingyas, and all this news have come to the media already. And I think ARSA, Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, is being supported both by the Hezbollah and Hamas. All these reports have come out in the media already. So what can we hope in Bangladesh? It's almost a sealed fate of the Hindus there.
Sir, I want to say something that
Yes,
Buddhists are
please.
also a minority in Bangladesh, but
Pardon? Pardon?
Buddhists are also a minority in Bangladesh. But
Yeah.
the Buddhists of Bangladesh, actually, I am from the Pali department of Calcutta University. I did PhD in Pali from Calcutta University. But in our department, there are many students from Bangladesh. They are monks, they are Buddhist monks. But I saw they are extremely Hindu haters. Extremely Hindu haters. And they are coming as a student in India, and I don't know how they became citizen within within 1 to 2 years, and they are a very close to current government of state, and they are grabbing all the jobs in the departments.
Mm.
How is it possible? They are also a minority. The majority is also doing atrocity on them also, but why they are targeting the Hindus?
Dr. Basu, I do have the strongest doubt that whether they're originally Buddhists. I do have the strongest doubt. I'm suspicious. Just there are many reports are there that confirm the Bangladeshi students that come to India, the majority of them is Islamists. The majority. And unfortunately, neither the Indian High Commission in Dhaka nor the central government in India has done anything on it. The central government's policy is the most problematic. The policy is completely informed. The more the central government is cautious of concentrating on the western part of India, the less they are concentrating on the eastern part of India. I don't know why is the reason. Why is this such a discrimination of policies? Why is this step on the latitude? The eastern faction of India is more dangerous in a more dangerous situation than in the western part. Take, for example, the international borders. The way the government of India has fortified the borders in the western part. They have not done nothing in the eastern part. Even in some areas, you can find the simple ponds, the simple meadows are still being considered as the international borders between the two. There have been untold uh, infiltrations from the Bangladesh. So what you have been saying till this moment that how can there be Hindu haters? I do have the strongest doubts that whether they are Buddhists or not, since the Buddhists have become the worst victims of Islamist persecution in Bangladesh. In the Chittagong Hill Tract, the entire episode has been witness to one of the most humongous, one of the most horrific genocides or the deaths of the Buddhists in the last 2 decades. If we go through the history, we'll find that there had been a Chakma movement in the early 80s, and it was made primarily of the Buddhists. There were rumors in Bangladesh that the Chak movement was being sponsored by the Congress government or the Indira Gandhi government at the time, but there was no such proven facts. But the Chakma movement had created lots of responses in the international arena. So the Buddhists have never been spared in Bangladesh, and if the Buddhists still consider themselves as Hindu haters, then it's quite unfortunate. And even if the Bangladesh is concerned, we have not found any such Buddhist group considered as a Hindu haters, since it is The most sprawling and the most prominent that both Buddhist Christian Oikko Porishad in Bangladesh, the largest organization of the non-Muslims in Bangladesh, all are having all are working together. So if they come to Calcutta to spew venom against the Hindus, I do have strong doubts whether they are Buddhists or not.
Do you think India desperately needs CAA and NRC right now?
India does desperately need CNRC, but there must be a very prolific investigation at the same time. Unfortunately, our Bengal volunteers, our organization, had asked the Honorable Central Government, Honorable Prime Minister, the Home Minister, Minister of Home Affairs, of certain changes, and the Parliamentary Secretary had responded to us. But unfortunately, till this moment, we do not know what has been taking place there. If you are trying to bring through very, very contentious, very, very epoch-making bills like CA, NLs, and UCC, there must be an adequate research and investigations of the entire scenario. As far as Bengal is concerned, the CA and NLs is absolutely needed. But looking at the situation in Bengal, it seems more than CA and NLs, there is a need of this 370 Article 371 that prevents any demographic changes. So government must come out with the CANSC as soon as possible.
So, what of limitless Muslim infiltration from neighboring Bangladesh?
Pardon, please?
What's the What's of limitless Muslim infiltration from neighboring Bangladesh? Why limitless Muslim infiltration is going in West Bengal from Bangladesh?
Well, not only West Bengal, it's also in Assam, it's also in Tripura, also in other major
But
parts of
in
the.
Assam and Tripura, we are seeing that Himanta Biswa Sharma is very strongly controlling. In Assam, we are seeing very strongly controlling these Muslim
Madam,
force.
I do beg to differ to you. I do beg to differ to you. In Assam, the Assam infiltration problem has reached such an optimum level that you can find the everyday speeches of the Balduddin Asbal, what is going on there. And as far as Tripura is concerned, it has become a new victim. As far as Bengal is concerned, there have been infiltrations ever since for 1947. But with the onset of the left front government, I am just quoting the words with very fullest responsibility. Between 1981 to 1991, there had been explosion of infiltrations in West Bengal's bordering districts, like the Malda, Murshidabad, the Dinajpur, and everywhere. That changed the demography to a certain level. And still this moment, if there's an infiltration, if there's some problems, the Muslims are coming from that side, that in that case, I am going to hold the state government and also the BSF as equal responsible. Both are culpable in this matter. What the BSF is doing there, what the BSF ought to do. Why can't they check? If they can't check this infiltration, why can't they report it to the central government? Now, if the central government remains silent even after having this report, then we must say the central government is going in a wrong direction. What they are saying in media, what they are saying in public, and what is being done behind the curtain is something different. There is a discrimination between the two.
Sir, do you think the reigning central government is competent enough to tackle the West Bengal situation?
It depends on the will. The government has enough competence, but it depends on the will to tackle the situation. Since as far as the reigning principal political party, the opposition in Bengal is concerned, the Bharatiya Janata Party, despite it has 70 MLAs and almost 18 MPs, the party has done nothing so prominent that people can have trust on it. There have been hundreds of issues of human rights violations, of riots, of deprivations, of the cheatings, of money launderings and everything. But the principal party in opposition is yet to show its true color as a party of struggles. It must be taken into account. Bengal, no, there has been no sudden There has been no sudden or gradual changes in the state scenario in Bengal. Each and every change is being preceded by an anarchist movement, with the Congress or the lefts, the Trinamool Congress, and everywhere. Bengal has always seen an anarchist movement before the changing of the guard. So unless if considering the present mood in Bengal, the way the people of Bengal are suffering, they have been defrauded, they have been cheated, they have been led to a path of destruction almost, unless the principal opposition party come out in its own way, it's very difficult to say whether the party in Bengal or the central government has a strong will to tackle the Bengal situation.
Would Bengal lead to a civil war?
Well, I
Or
don't hope
Bengal
so,
is
since
going to be the next Sudan?
No, certainly not. Certainly not. Bengal is very much within the democratic framework and constitutional framework, so it can lead to Sudan. But certainly it can lead to one of the most disturbing areas in India. And strikingly, it must be said that from 1947 till this moment, if you go through the government records, the central government records, it shall be found that Bengal has been the most violent state in all these decades. First, there was the Congress, then the left movement, there was the Naxalite movement, then there was the riots and everything. Okay, so Bengal is a very disturbed state. Bengal lots of potentials, but I don't think the Bengal is going to be the next Sudan. It's not possible.
Sir, thank you. You came to our channel, and it's our pleasure that you elaborately discussed on this matter. And namaskar. दर्शक आप भी देखते रहिए थिंक टैंक इंडिया. प्लीज शेयर, सब्सक्राइब एंड लाइक आवर चैनल. नमस्कार.
Thank you.